All right, so to get 6.4 started, we have to review the quadratic formula, ladies and gentlemen, which means it's going to be right here. That's quadratic formula, equation, if you will. Each equation has to be in standard form first, meaning it has to be in descending order, a squared, a, then constant. Now, to do these, we have to declare what a, b, and c are. Now, this is standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, all right? So the coefficient of x squared is a. So in number 1, a is 7. The coefficient of the x term is b. So b is 12. And the coefficient and the constant is c. So c here will be a negative 13. Super important to do that, okay? And you know that's the first step. So on each problem, you're going to have to show me that step. After that, we're going to go ahead and plug them in right here. So this is the opposite of b. So when you see negative b right here, that's the opposite of whatever b is. So opposite of 12 is negative 12. Plus or minus big square root 12 squared, that's b squared, minus 4 times a, which is 7, times c, which is negative 13. It's all over 2 times a, which is 7. So that's the first part. You definitely have to show that first initial step of plugging everything in. It's part of the problem. You have to do it. After that, we're going to simplify. This is going to be negative 12 plus or minus big square root. We're going to have 144 minus, and after I put that minus, I'm going to remember something here. I'm going to consider this a negative 4 in here. So negative 4 times 7 times negative 13, well, that'd be a negative times a negative, so it's going to be a positive. 4 times 7 is 28, and 28 times 13 is 364. It's all over 14, because 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, after that, I have negative 12 plus or minus big square root. 144 plus 364 is going to be 508, I believe. Yep, and then that's all over 14. So it's looking pretty good right now. The only thing is we have to simplify this. Now, you might see on the answer key all the answers are in decimal form. That's not going to be good enough. So let me show you what I want you to do. I want you to take this square root, which is 508, and simplify it. So 508, I think, is divisible by 4. It is. And you can divide it. It's the same thing as 4 times 127. So the square root of 4 is 2, and then 127 in there. I don't think 127 breaks down. So we're just going to leave it like that, okay? So we have negative 12 plus or minus 2 root 127 all over 14. All right, now that we can have all these coefficients out here, you have Valentine's Day coming up, all the coefficients can be divisible or are divisible by 2. So we're going to simplify that, and here's our final answers. We have negative 6, because negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6, plus or minus root 127, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that basically just went away. That's all over 14 divided by 2 is 7. So those are our answers right there for number 1. Okay, now I'm going to go quicker through the other ones, because I've already done one like that. All right. Number 3. Now, there's no b term here. We don't have this. So if it's a squared plus ax squared. Start over on that one. If it's ax squared plus bx plus c, there's no x term here. So b will have to be 0. Now, a is still 11, and c is going to be negative 6 from right there. This one should be a little nicer for us, okay? So it's going to be the opposite of b, so the opposite is 0, plus or minus square root of 0 squared minus 4 times 11 times negative 6, all over 2 times 11. So this is nicer because we don't have to worry about this. It goes away. So it's just plus or minus, and then the square root. You have negative 4 times 11 times negative 6. So basically 24 times 11, which is 264. And it's a positive 264 because we have a negative and a negative. And that's all over 22. Now 264 is also divisible by 4. Okay, so this is the same thing. Let me tighten this up a little bit here. Change my color. This is the same thing as plus or minus, and 264 is the same thing as, do this, 4 times 66. So that's the same thing as 2 root, because the square root of 4 is 2, 66. Now 66 breaks down to 6 times 11, 2 times 33, 3 times 22, but none of those are squares. So the 66 does not break down, but there's 22 down here. Now, to finish this problem, what we're going to do is we're going to take these two, all the coefficients out here, the constants, and we can go ahead and do plus or minus and divide them by 2. So root 66 stays up top, the 11 stays on bottom. So that's going to be both of our answers, the positive version and the negative version. Okay. Now let's see here, I'll do 5. Let's do 5. So now we have A is equal to 1, B is equal to 11, and C is equal to 13. Okay, so it's going to be the opposite of B, so the opposite of 11, plus or minus square root 11 squared minus 4 times 1 times 13. That's all over 2 times 1. Okay, so negative 11 plus or minus, I'm simplifying inside, which is 121 minus, now 4 times 13 is 52. It's all over 2. All right, so I have negative 11 plus or minus square root. Now 121 minus 52 is 69. It's all over 2. Now 69 does not break down. It breaks down to 3 times 23, but those are both prime numbers, no squares. So oddly enough, this is our answer. Since that was a short one, I'm also going to do number 6, because this one you have a negative b, so I have to show you at least one example of this. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 2, and c is equal to negative 10. So this is what we have to do. Since it's the opposite of b, it's the opposite of negative 2, plus or minus big square root, and it's b squared, so that'll be parentheses negative 2 squared, minus 4 times 1 times negative 10. This is all over 2 times 1. Now, we got to deal with a lot of signs here, so please pay attention to this. The opposite of negative 2 is a positive 2. That's the first and foremost issue right there. Then, negative 2 squared is the same thing as negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4. Then, negative 4 times negative 10, that's positive 40. That's all over 2. All right, so that was a tricky step. The next one we're just adding, so 2 plus or minus square root of 44. It's all over 2. Now 44 simplifies down to 4 times 11, so it's 2 root 11. Okay. I have to remember to put the 2 plus or minus in front of it. And then, last but not least, I can simplify all these. So this is actually a clean answer, a really nice looking answer here. We're going to end up with, for our final answer, that turns into a 1, that turns into a 1, and that's over 1. So our answer is actually 1 plus or minus square root 11. It's a clean answer. Looks good. Thank you so much.